Hello, I think we're live.
You are, yeah.
Sorry, completely gone on my screen for a second there, but hello everyone, welcome back to Talking Tennis. Hopefully you were with Damien earlier for the first semi-final in the women's, and hopefully you're with us now for the very exciting match between Danielle Collins and Aryna Sabalenka. Unfortunately, Nick is not with us, quite clearly. He should be. He was very briefly, but I'm sure he'll be back soon. But yeah, really excited for this one. I think, due to the, some may say, unfortunate head-to-head between Iga and Coco, this is probably the more exciting women's semi-final of the day. Certainly is for me. Obviously a rematch of their Madrid round of 16 just a couple of weeks ago. So sort of exciting to see how that pans out. I sort of feel like Danielle might have a little bit more to offer today. If I was going to guess, they're just about to get started on my screen. But obviously tough to tell. Sabalenka has been brilliant so far this tournament, and obviously in Madrid too. So I'm not sure which way this one's going to go. But if I had to hazard a guess, I would have to go with a Sabalenka win. But I think it would be great if Danielle Collins could maybe turn around that Madrid result from a few weeks ago. She has obviously been playing some incredible tennis.
Can you hear me, Kira? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, because I've got a question for you.
Please
do you think Aryna? I just sort of thought of this in the last couple of days. Whether I'm a bit worried about her. It sounds strange because she's playing unbelievably. She's involved in all these epic matches. She's winning a lot of those matches. But when I was watching the Svitolina match, and Nick, feel free to just add yourself. When I was watching that Svitolina match a couple of days ago, I was thinking it might be a blessing in disguise if she went out, just because the amount of tennis that she's had to play. She's just on court for so long.
Yeah, she is on court for a long time. You're right. I think they said, didn't they, I can't remember. I think the commentator said the other day that she'd been on court more hours than anyone else this year so far. Is that her?
Didn't hear that stat, so I don't know.
No, I think it was her. It might not be. So that's as good a stat as any. But yeah, I tend to disagree myself. I almost think after a bit of maybe a month and a half of sort of not so great stuff from Sabalenka, or at least not the level we expect from her, I almost think getting this run of great form, great results, a bit scrappy, but she's getting there, and some incredible tennis in there as well. I almost think that's going to be more useful to her than anything else. Obviously, it's a lot of tennis in one go, but I sort of think she's equipped to handle that. I don't know what you think, Nick.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and we're saying this. I mean, Sabalenka's been super consistent in the slams, but hasn't been really going deep in many 1,000 tournaments for about a year. I think the only other 1,000 level semi-final she has is the semi-finals in Cincinnati, where she lost to Mukova. And I guess you could also count some tier finals where she lost to Iga, but that was a really scrappy path through where she narrowly beat Rybakina, having both of them lost to Pegula in that tournament. So yeah, I think this is a good time for her to kind of get the ball rolling, be competitive again. I do see what they're meaning about it. It's a lot of tennis, and I did think that maybe had a back injury against Svitolina that seemed to flare up was somewhat concerning. But also, I was having the same concerns about Iga, given her track record of not necessarily following on in the next tournament straight after a long one.
I don't think Nick is holding a pose, but I'm not sure. No, I think he's frozen. But I agree with all his points, if he can hear me. Whatever's happening to Nick at the moment. We've got Ghosty and Terry. Oh, Nick, is that you? You returned to us? Not quite. Okay.
I'm still here.
We're getting little bits.
Right.
If you can hear me, Nick, we're getting little bits, but not very much. And now not at all. I'm sure Nick will be back, but I agree with everything he said. There, we've obviously got Ghosty and Terry in the chat, who I imagine are going to be at odds all evening. We've got a staunch Danielle Collins fan and a Sabalenka fan here. I think whoever wins tonight, and this is such a cliche thing to say, but tennis is the winner, isn't it? Because I think if Danielle Collins manages to beat Sabalenka, that'll be huge for her. If Sabalenka wins, we get that Sabalenka-Swiatek rematch from Madrid that I think a lot of us were hoping for. So I think it's a brilliant result either way. So I'll be happy either way. Like I said earlier, I think I would have to predict a Sabalenka win tonight. Nice to see Swarner with us as well. And yes, Sabalenka should be fine. I did forget about the back injury, though. How quickly I forget. That was concerning at the time. I wasn't sure at one point whether she was going to be able to continue. The physio seemed quite, worried about it, I thought, when they were talking between games and on changeovers. But doesn't seem to be causing her too much trouble going forward. Just as these service games aren't causing either of them too much trouble for now, Sabalenka got through hers without too much issue. And Collins 40-30 at the moment. Nick joining us from Jupiter. If he was with us, yes, clearly struggling with that Jupiter Wi-Fi. Hopefully he will be back with us soon. Ghosty, the only Collins backer. I don't know. I feel like I'm just erring on the side of Collins today. I do want Danielle Collins to win, as I want her to win most of the time at the moment. But like Swarner, I'm also a bit neutral to death. I do think both options are pretty good options. I think the women's tournament has been fabulous once again in Rome, just as it was in Madrid, and really just showing off what women's tennis is all about, which I think it's a great time to do that at the moment. Collins having a little bit more trouble now on this service game as it goes to deuce. So a little bit of an early worry for Collins here. Sabalenka, of course, really struggled against Svitolina, as we know, but saved match points, did really well to come through that one, and then kind of demolished Ostapenko. If we're honest, that one was quite quick, especially by Sabalenka's recent standards. Straight sets, pretty quick. So she should take quite a lot of confidence from that because Ostapenko was doing quite well previously. Danielle with a game point to level it up early in this match. Oof, that's a very long first serve from Danielle. Going for the second serve. Goes down the middle and Sabalenka can't get it back. Goes long and we are 1-1 in the early days of this first set. Goes to saying if Collins had Rybakina's serve, she would dominate the WTA. I would say there's quite a lot of players near the top of the game who, if they had Rybakina's serve, would probably dominate the WTA, to be honest. But I do know what you're getting at with Collins' ground strokes and how she dominates from that sort of mid-court position that she takes up. But I do think, you give a lot of players Rybakina's serve and you'd see a massive difference. It's a huge, huge advantage. I've got to ask because I'm interested more than anything else. Swan is saying if Rybakina didn't have allergies, she would dominate the WTA. I feel like I've seen that in places, the allergies thing. Is that sort of confirmed that is why she misses has missed a few tournaments that it's allergies, or is that sort of like the current rumor? I feel like I've seen a load of things. I'm just interested as to whether that's sort of a definite explanation or sort of what we think is going on. Just because I haven't seen it confirmed, but that by no means would mean it hasn't been. 30 love here, Sabalenka, just moving through this service game pretty quickly. As you can see, so far, early days, of course, but that first serve percentage for Danielle in that first game, not good. She needs to get a few more first serves in, hopefully, in her next few games. Okay, so she mentioned her allergies specifically about struggling in Rome, and that's what's happening right now, but there's also other possible issues in the background for other tournaments. Cool, thank you very much. I feel like there's just so much speculation about Rybakina's health everywhere that I sort of feel like is perhaps erring on the side of unnecessary, but obviously if she's been talking about allergies, that's fair enough. Double fault there from Sabalenka. Was looking very comfortable at the start of this service game, but just beginning to struggle now at 30 all on my screen. I can see on this one that Danielle's got a break point, but I'm not there yet, so don't worry about it. Good wide serve from Sabalenka, but Danielle Collins' return is even better as she runs in to put away the backhand down the line and give herself a break point. Great work on the return from Danielle Collins, as we've become so accustomed to recently. As Ghosty said earlier, I think it is on serve that we see her struggle more than anything. If we see her struggle at all, of course. Oh, nice backhand there from Sabalenka, back behind Danielle to go to deuce.
Is this working?
It seems to be.
Excellent. Well, if not, at least we have you, Kira. I whilst I've been fixing this, I've not been paying too much attention to the tennis, but so far, Collins giving Sabalenka a fight.
Yes, absolutely. Although Collins did have to contend with a deuce on her own service game just now as well. But quickly sorted that out, and Sabalenka seems to be quickly sorting this one out as well. Nice forehand, inside out forehand there to a drop shot that wins the point.
There we go. So you're slightly ahead of me, Kira.
Really?
Yep.
Oh dear. Oh, great ace from Sabalenka there to seal that game. 2-1.
Oh right, no, actually I'm ahead of you. Okay.
That'll be it.
Yeah. Never mind. Ghosty, I have to ask. Rybakina is an enigma wrapped in a mystery, and then that comment. Is that a Doctor Who reference? If not, then it's very, very similar to a Doctor Who quote. But
it is, isn't it? Not. It's like close, but not quite. I think
it's not the same quote. No, it's from a Matt Smith episode.
Yeah.
Yes. I can find. Also, I'm glad that someone. I always worry when I make a Doctor Who reference that like people either go, "Yes, I know what you're talking about," or look at me like I just dribbled over my shirt.
Oh yeah, no, definitely the first one for me. Don't you worry, I'm a bit of a fanatic. Oh.
Yeah. Hang on.
I'm afraid I'm on the version of this with adverts.
Same.
So anything that happens between games, I will have no idea what's going on.
I'm just Googling the quote now. Okay, so it's not. I think it's been used in Who thing, but I think it's a widely used quote.
Often the way.
Possibly. Yeah, sometimes Doctor Who can be original. Sometimes, very occasionally.
Yeah. I certainly think original is the word for the episodes that came out on Saturday. But I digress.
Yes. We're very joining, starting a very different podcast, I think.
Yes, we're in danger of that. I'm surprised, just quickly on this though, I'm surprised that your favourite Doctor is David Tennant, Ghosty, because I feel like you would have had a less mainstream choice. But it is also, in my opinion, the correct choice, so I can't really knock you on that one.
I mean, my choices are not mainstream. My favourite Doctor is Tom Baker. My favourite New Who Doctor, Peter Capaldi.
That's a good choice, though. I back it. We have lost you a little bit, Nick. I heard most of that, but we can't see you anymore, just to let you know.
As long as you heard the main part again, but yeah, this is getting ridiculous.
We can. Oh no, I was about to say we can still hear you. It's nice to have Nick joining us intermittently, giving us a little bit of excellent, well, in this case, excellent Doctor Who analysis, and then off he goes back to Jupiter. Nick's already stocked up for a party to celebrate Eagle's win on Saturday. Oof, that would be bold. I wouldn't celebrate too soon. I think Sabalenka or Collins might have something to say about that if they get there. Sabalenka making her move here to be the one who does get there. She's love 30 on my screen at the moment on the Collins serve. Collins going for a drop shot. A little bit maverick from her, does go in the net, and that's 3 break points here for Sabalenka. Great cross-court backhand by Sabalenka, but the cross-court forehand is just wide. She looks a little bit frustrated there. She knows she could have got that done. But still 2 more break points here for Sabalenka to get the early break. Let first serve for Collins. That one's in the net, but still a second serve. Really struggling to get a first serve in at the moment, Danielle, which is costing her. Sabalenka really going for it on return, immediately taking control of this rally, and the Danielle Collins backhand slice goes long. So a pretty simple break there for Sabalenka in the early stages here, and she makes it 3-1 relatively quickly. Just some really powerful shots there, accompanied by, not the best serving from Danielle Collins, allowing Sabalenka to get into those rallies and dominate them early. But Collins is returning well on the Sabalenka serve, so doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility that she could get something done here. Lovely drop shot from Sabalenka. I feel like Sabalenka's using this drop shot way more than I've ever seen her in recent matches, using a drop shot. It's working for her. I can see why she's doing it. It is working for her. That one painted the line for 15 love. Worked really well against Svitolina, that drop shot. Oof, oof, oof. That serve from Sabalenka, not going to cut it, not with the Danielle Collins backhand return on hand, down the line. Whew. That one was a good one. Tries to go for it again, but Sabalenka's first serve a lot better than her second. And Collins puts too much on it, 30-15. Yeah, absolutely, Ghosty. It's a smart move, and she will get joy from it, I think. I'm surprised more people don't try that against Collins, actually. I feel like they don't really try it. I mean, I'm not telling them to. Don't want anyone to put an end to Danielle's run, but yeah, I'm surprised it's not a more used tactic. Once again, wonderful from Danielle Collins there. Forehand, the angle she managed to get on that, Sabalenka can get nowhere near it. Makes it 30 all, sorry. Oh, response from Sabalenka though. Big ace. Second ace already. Quite a short space of time. Oh, got the hair. Oh, yeah. Good serving from Sabalenka there to hold that game. She takes a 4-1 lead early on, so difficult for Collins here. Obviously, scoreboard pressure-wise, 4-1 looks bad, but it is just one break, so she's still very much in this set. Ghosty, do you mean her athleticism conceals like a lack of court awareness? Or do you mean it sort of hides how good her court awareness is? I'm not sure which way around you mean that. I might be just reading it wrong in my head, but let me know. But yeah, first serve percentage for Danielle Collins is the big stat right now. She needs to get that up, and then I feel like she'll be able to compete with where Sabalenka is at. Yeah, that's what I hoped and thought you meant, Ghosty. I completely think that, because I have seen so many people talking about how Sabalenka doesn't play smart tennis. She just hits the ball. So many people talking about how she's sort of, like you say, pure athleticism. She hits the ball. She's good at movement. That is her thing. And I've seen lots of people talking about a lack of like court awareness and a lack of decision-making skills. And I think that's totally rubbish. I think she's way smarter than she gets credit for. I don't know if part of that is because of her sort of, fun. She's got a bit of like I hate this word, but almost like a goofy personality off court as well. I don't know if that adds to that. I don't know where that comes from, this idea that she doesn't have this like court smarts, as it were. But I totally disagree. I think she absolutely has. I also think you'd be hard-pressed to find a player as successful and as good at tennis as Sabalenka who doesn't have any court smarts. I'd love it if any of you can tell me a player who has reached that sort of level of like slam winning, multiple slam wins, and doesn't have any sort of I keep saying the word court smarts and it's not a thing, but court smarts. Can you think of any players who you don't think have that intelligence on the court? She didn't play smart in the US Open final. Most people use that one example for generalization. That's a really good point. Yeah, because that's totally right, but it's one match, isn't it? And I don't think that reflects her. I don't think that final reflects her game in the slightest, to me anyway, because I think if you just watched that one final, would you get a feel for what Sabalenka is all about? I don't think you would. I also think Coco played very well. I don't think we should take that away from her, but I do think that you're not going to get the Sabalenka experience if you just watch that US Open final. You're not going to get it. $15 all here on Danielle Collins' serve. She's in danger of things getting away from her quickly, but a long backhand from Sabalenka makes it 30-15. In terms of assessing court smarts, for me, you know, I'm not always the most, I wouldn't claim to be the most technical analyst of tennis ever. You know, if you want serious technical analysis, you want to go to Vanch and Damien, and they're incredible at that. And that's not, I would not claim for that to be my strength. But for me, anyway, it is mostly when I'm watching a match, you're sort of, if you watch a lot of tennis, I feel like you're often assessing people's decision making as they're making those decisions, and whether she's, you know, whether the tactics are working and whether they're able to adapt. That's the sort of thing for me that I think of when I think of whether people are court smart. Not that that is a thing at all. Great play from Sabalenka there to make it 40-30. Collins will not want this to go to deuce. She wants a decent hold here just to get this grip back on the set. Oof. No getting that back. Sabalenka, inside out forehand from the middle of the court. Outright winner. And it does go to deuce. And this is exactly the sort of game Danielle Collins does not need at 4-1 down. Nice serve down the middle. Big forehand. Cross court. She's got that sort of intensity in her face now, Danielle Collins. She's sort of gaining that attitude that she had in her quarterfinal, where, you know, she's asking the crowd what they're talking about when they were having a go at her for missing a first serve. I loved that. Yeah, great intensity there from Danielle Collins. You could see it on her face. She just upped the intensity, upped the focus, and a good hold there to make it 4-2. I'm afraid I'm so English that I've no idea what baseball cards are or look like. I imagine, well, I know what they are, obviously, but like I don't know what they are. I imagine it's like the stats and stuff. Can we make them like Pokemon cards or something? That makes more sense to me. Or match attacks. That's probably very British, match attacks. Like top, that's what I was imagining, top trumps, but for baseball. Okay, would that be like stuff like speed? I don't know what stats apply to baseball. We do have sports cards. Like I say, they're called like match attacks. They might not be anymore. They were when I was like in primary school, and they're like football players, and they have like their pace and stuff. Clearly, I'm not a connoisseur, but I do know what you mean, Ghosty. I promise. And yeah, Vanch. What's making him not that perfect 10 on technical assessment? I'd be tempted to put him a little bit higher than that. But thank you. Whoa, that's ridiculous. That's insane. Sorry. Danielle Collins there, running round to play the forehand return on the Sabalenka serve that wasn't half bad, but Collins' return is just past her before she can do anything about it. That is stunning. Love that from Danielle Collins to make it 15-30. Naturally, Sabalenka responds with an ace, as she did last time. Two great points. Oh, Vanch is a Nori guy. You have to dock him half a point. You know, that seems harsh. You can't You can't knock the glorious members of Nori Nation. Oh dear. Lovely backhand down the line return, and Sabalenka can't get that back over the net. And Danielle Collins with a break back point here. Exciting stuff if she could level this back up. James is an Ori guy too. Yes, I was producing I can't remember which match it was, but the match where it was James and Vanch and they had quite a long talk about Cam Norrie. I was producing that one, and they were both very, very much into Norrie. Yes. Right, break point here for Danielle Collins. Sabalenka serves out wide. Is that? Oh, it's just wide. That's a double fault on break point from Aryna Sabalenka. Tough to take that one, but Danielle Collins won't care. She's back in this first set. I'm getting ahead of myself already. At 4-3, and just in time. Nick is back. How long for? We don't know.
No, I mean, how long's Collins going to be back? That's the other question. Hopefully, you may have to bear with me on the technical difficulties. We will see what happens. I've had to clear all of my cookies, and let's see what happens.
It's all right. I was saying earlier, it's great. You sort of pop in some brilliant analysis, and then when you're done, you just pop out again.
All I gave you was Doctor Who stuff.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Okay. Well, the first bit of analysis you gave us was specifically Doctor Who based, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong.
You don't want to get me started on that. That's just gonna.
It's a rabbit hole for sure.
That's the one TV show I actually keep up with.
Mm. Oh. I thought I'd done something wrong then. No, it's fine. Have you been able to watch much of this first set so far, or have you been a bit preoccupied?
I've been a bit preoccupied, but I have seen that Sabalenka somewhat gave away that last game.
I would say so. I mean, some brilliant returning from Danielle Collins to give her some credit, but yeah, the double fault on break point, not ideal for Sabalenka.
Does the head-to-head of 5-0 to Sabalenka surprise you?
5-0 is quite, that is quite big. I would have said, Danielle Collins might have got one, but it doesn't shock me, perhaps. I do think we're watching a bit of a different Danielle Collins these days, but yeah. You
say that. Aryna Sabalenka had to step up to beat this version of Danielle Collins in Madrid.
She did, and she did so brilliantly, I thought, at the time.
Did we do that match? I know I did that match.
It's very possible. I forget almost as soon as I've done any match whether I've done it or not.
Yeah, I'm currently.
I feel like I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did do that match.
Yeah, because then we did the. No, I'm losing it. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I'm currently doing a project where I'm actually going back and finding out like how many streams everyone's done over the almost 2 years the channel's existed. Curry got up to about Australian Open this year. So, but like I have genuinely opened a couple of videos and gone, oh, I forgot I did that match.
Yeah, I can imagine. I feel like I've only been doing this for like a month and a half, and I would already just forget what I've been doing. But
I'm looking forward to getting to the Kira era.
It might take you a while. It's a recent development. I would suggest Kira era sounds awful as well, doesn't it? It's terrible. It's the Collins era though that we're in at the moment, really, as she is sort of reclaiming her serve. She's been serving not very well at all, I must say, but much better in this game as she takes it to 40-love.
Yeah, I mean, out of these two opponents, which is the one that the eager fandom is going to be most worried about?
I can't speak on behalf of the eager fandom, of course. I wouldn't claim to. There's some scary people there.
You're probably
I
not
wouldn't
the
want to
best
speak.
representative of it, but
But if you want to know who I'd be more scared of, it would be Sabalenka.
yeah, I'd be on that as well.
Oh, nice serving from Danielle Collins there. Holds to love and gets this back level from 4-1 down to 4-all.
Yeah, this is now a very interesting match. Have you managed to catch much of the tennis today? Because I was waiting for the Tsitsipas Jarry match to finish, and that ended up being an epic.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah, and I may or may not have had the Iga Goff match on during a meeting, but I
Mm.
wasn't actually able to pay much attention to the actual match because I had to have my camera on for this Teams meeting with someone
Oh.
very important. So I couldn't glance at the match very much.
No, that's definitely a scary one. I,
Nick?
on the other hand, have had basically every match on all day. I have been doing other stuff as well, I promise, but it's been on all day. I have watched a lot of it, and I think it's been very good.
That was an interesting point. Sabalenka not really getting a racket on that shot from Collins for love 15, and I'm just seeing the love this follow point on forehand. Sabalenka, Collins, playing with the baseline and just missing it. Love 30.
Yeah, that's 15-all, I think, isn't it? But yeah.
15-all. Sorry, what am I talking about?
No, it's all right. It's just the wrong way around.
Yeah, I'm this used to the momentum being with Danielle Collins.
You're just assuming that it's all her.
I tell you what. Do you know what I've realised? Of course, Ghosty's dream would be Danielle Collins winning Rome and Tommy Paul winning Rome.
Of course, it's all possible. It's still on the cards. Tommy Paul was so good today. He was so good. Genuinely.
That's the one match I missed.
I think, there was a few lapses in concentration here and there, which I feel like does sort of happen to Tommy Paul. And Hubie was not there on serve at all. He served like he can for about 3 games, I would say, throughout the whole match. But still, I thought Tommy played some brilliant stuff.
I mean, he has been all year, pretty much.
Yeah.
Also, some brilliant serving from Sabalenka there to move to 40-15.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be the. By the way, if Danielle Collins wins the title in Rome, she will move up to number 9 in the rankings. So obviously, if she wins this match, she's number 10. Wins the title, she's number 9, which could make her the 8th seed in Rome if Pegula doesn't play, which is looking very likely.
Yeah, I'm not expecting Pegula in Roland Garros, to be honest.
Neither am I, not based on what she's saying. And she's just pulled out from the Strasbourg.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's highly unlikely, and she's going to try and come back for the grass, which opens things up a little bit. But yeah, you could see Danielle Collins as the 8th seed at Roland Garros if she beats Sabalenka and Swiatek.
Yeah, she'd have earned it if she manages to do both of those things in quick succession. That kind of seeding, I feel like, would be, accurate for how she's playing at the moment. So
I would agree. I think having her in the last 16 it feels wrong. I mean, that being said, I think she's 12 at the minute in the live ranking. So I think she's in the point where she wouldn't be drawn against a top 4 seed in the last 16. So she can avoid that problem.
That's something at least, but it still feels like that, she's earned a better seeding. I know it's not how it works, but with how she's played.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like in some way. I mean, that's why I started my power ranking series, which I do before every slam. And I go, right, well, if I decided the seeds for Roland Garros, what would I put
Which is how it should be, absolutely.
Yeah. Although I don't know if everyone would be eventually sick of Iga Swiatek being the #1 seed at every single tournament. But
she is. That's not up for debate. If, in a couple of years, if she drops down the rankings and you're still putting her at #1, yeah, okay, people might have an issue.
There's been one tournament I didn't put her as #1, one slam pre-tournament, Wimbledon last year.
Wimbledon. yeah, that's fair.
And I almost didn't put her as #1 for Australia. I nearly gave it to Rybakina, but I talked myself into Iga.
Yeah, it's not hard to do.
Turns out
Yeah,
Wimbledon ended up being my #3 on the list.
Right.
Sabs. I should have rated her higher, to be honest, but she just lost to Rybakina quite handily.
Yeah, no, I didn't have Sabalenka winning Australia for sure after her early sort of 2024, but
I tell you what, though, if Collins wins this match, I'm definitely ranking her in top 4 in my rankings ahead of Goff.
Yeah.
In terms of like most likely to win RG, if she beats Sabalenka, yeah.
Then obviously, yeah, it would have to be. I think she's done so well to get this back, like I say, 4-1 down, back on serve at 5-4.
By the way, if Ghosty's still here, then this is obviously if we do the double for Collins and Paul, or even if just one of them wins the title, it'll probably be the best Rome title for him since 1979.
Oh, that's very specific.
Ghosty specifically.
Okay.
There might be a little bit of a tennis history stat in there.
Ghosty's going to love that.
Yeah, there might. Let's see if he can work it out.
Oh, lovely. Came forward to put away that forehand cross court there, Danielle. 30 love.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah. Vitas Gerulaitis won Rome twice, 1977 and 1979.
Should have guessed. That one was obvious, really.
Yeah. Also did make the 1980 Roland Garros final, but lost to the absolute clay machine that was Bjorn Borg.
Understandable, that one. Swarner asked, it's sort of gone up a bit now, but Swarner asked us whether we think Pegula will play in the Olympics or not.
Depends on the injury, right? She's talking like she's going back for grass. So if she plays grass, then she's playing the Olympics. And even if she doesn't play grass, I mean, she'll have recovered enough. And like, it depends on this. Yeah, it depends on how bad this injury is. But I'm relatively confident she'll be at the Olympics. That's a wild backhand cross court from Collins to concede that point.
Oh yeah, I've just seen that one. That is wild. Yeah, I agree. I think I expect to see Pegula in the Olympics. I know there's a bit of confusion about which Americans want to play and don't, but I'm pretty sure it's just Ben Shelton. Really.
It is just Ben Shelton. I think at the minute, like the women. Oh, that's a mega return from Aryna Sabalenka. Places the forehand perfectly on the return. It's 40-30.
I'm excited to see it.
I'm live reacting now.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Sabalenka special right there. No, Shelton doesn't want to play the Olympics, Ghosty. He's actively said he's not doing it.
Which I feel like he said it, and I don't know whether he said it in a certain way or what, but it felt like he said it, and a load of people were like, "Oh, Americans don't want to play it," but I think it's just Ben Shelton.
He's basically said the Olympics being on clay this year kind of messes up his schedule, and he'd rather be ready for the US swing and have a good shot at the US Open. Yeah. But he did say that he would definitely be playing the Olympics when it's in the US in 2028.
Yeah, I saw that.
But in terms of the women, no, they're currently fighting over spots because they can have 4. They can only have 4 spots, and there's 5 women in the mix, which are Goff, Pegula, Collins, Navarro, and Keys. So yeah, that would be And that's kind of the dispute. And it's going to be which 4 get in is going to depend on the rankings after Roland Garros.
Yeah. Nice hold there from Danielle Collins to make it 5-all.
Shawana Sloan is not. Shawana, I think Sloan would have to win Roland Garros or something like that to get into the Olympics. Unfortunately, I think it's pretty much. I think if Pegula is fit, then it's going to be her, Coco, and Danielle, and then it's going to be between Navarro and Keys for the last spot.
Yeah, I'm going Keys.
You think Keys is going to? I think Keys is going to squeeze ahead of Navarro. I agree with you. Navarro will have to wait for 2028 for her chance.
Yeah. I do think 6 hours before a flight is a little bit too early, by the way, John. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I know someone who traveled to Hong Kong this year, and let's just say that he didn't plan his trip well and had to spend pretty much an entire day in the airport waiting for connecting flights.
No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
He didn't realize he wouldn't have been able to leave the airport.
Oh. Oh, of course, because you can't. Oh, yeah.
That was the problem. I doubt he's watching, but shout out to Paul if you're watching from Hong Kong. By the way, to answer the question on power rankings, yeah, I am going to record one next week. I'm waiting. I mean, I pretty much got 8 out of the 10. I know 8 out of the 10 players who are going to be on it. I just need to figure out the last 2.
You've got time. Got time.
Yeah. I want to get it done before the Roland Garros WTA weekly show. And I've also got to decide what I've pretty much got an order in mind as well for the date. But yeah, it's just those last 2 spots. It's really open. It's going to have to be picked out of a hat at this rate.
Yeah. Nice backhand from Sabalenka there to make it 40-15. I'm probably well behind, but it was nice.
No. I've just seen. Yeah, it's fine. Well, I'm seeing the 40-15 point now. Oh, mega return from Danielle Collins. There's no Danimal celebration. That was sort of yeah, I'm that good. Kind of casually walking to the other side, ready to receive the next serve.
I love both equally. I love a proper Danimal sort of freak out celebration, and I love I'm too cool for this. Don't look at me. Both are great.
Oh no, I think she wants to be looked at. Like, no, that was too good. That serve.
Oh yeah, no, it's like a sarcastic. Don't look at me, and it's like, don't look at me.
Oh yeah. Which I think Elena Rybakina just embodies the entire time.
Yes.
Without the sarcasm.
Without the sarcasm. I think she'd be happier if people weren't allowed to come and watch tennis matches. I think that would work for her.
For Iga
Although she does sometimes use the sort of Aryna patented word atmosphere.
True. Do you think Iga would feel the same about people watching tennis?
I think she's warmed to it more. I think she's maybe, well, warmed to it, maybe not right. Got used to it, I would describe, perhaps.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but you're right. I think probably the probably highest ranked person who's able to work a crowd is probably Coco.
Yeah. I do think Sabalenka is quite good with a crowd.
True.
She's got the right crowd.
Yeah. It's very much, it depends on the vibe.
Like a Madrid crowd, she's good with.
Yeah, maybe not so much a US crowd.
No, not that one. And not if she's playing Coco Gauff. But
or Maddie Keys.
Or Maddie Keys. Or any American or anyone else.
She's probably very relieved that she's playing an American in Rome right now.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I sort of saying Rebecca always thanks the crowd for energy. I would say that's sort of she does, and fair play. I do think that's sort of become one of those like staple lines in every post-match interview from every player, whether they gained energy or not, possibly.
Oh, that's a great Sabalenka return, set up love 15. Sabalenka locking in now.
Yeah, if there's one service game that Collins might find tricky, it's this one, because Sabalenka knows it's her last chance before a tiebreak, which I think she'll probably want to avoid.
I mean, tiebreak could go either way, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the drop shot from Sabalenka, which she's learned how to do, but that wasn't good enough. Collins picked it off, 15-all.
She has been using those drop shots so well, though, Sabalenka. I'm not necessarily talking about this match, but maybe this tournament.
Svitolina definitely was where we started seeing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. She's been showing a lot more variety this tournament than we usually expect.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, I think she's sort of... I do think there's an element of people don't necessarily credit her for the variety she has normally. I'm not saying she's the most variety player ever normally, but I think people do sort of think of her as just a hard hitter, and I don't think that's necessarily true.
Yeah, I am one of those people who always assumes that's how she's going to play. But you're right, she does have a few more tools in the toolbox. Collins has gone long, by the way, 15-30.
That one's close.
At the minute, I feel like Collins is kind of... I mean, like, Sabalenka has played some good shots, but Collins is in danger of giving this one away. She's missed the first serve.
Often comes down to serve with Collins, it feels like.
Yeah, a lot of the time. I mean, with so many other players, but yeah, Collins vulnerable in the second serve. Makes it tricky for Aryna to return. They're trading forehands now, going cross court to cross court, but Collins couldn't cope well with that Aryna forehand, puts it well in the net. We've got 2 set points. And there is Kira's live reaction.
Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit delayed, but that was just great depth from Sabalenka to sort of get it on Collins's feet and give it no option but to try and move out of the way.
Set point for Aryna Sabalenka. Collins has aborted the ball toss. I feel like I've taken over a bit. I don't know. I'm ahead.
I'm so behind it. It would make no sense for me to do anything.
Well, it doesn't feel like my stream's going to crash at any minute, which is pretty good. So here we go. Second serve for Danielle Collins. She doesn't want this serve to crash. Goes out wide to the Sabalenka forehand. Collins going to go up the line with her forehand. Oh, my word. That was so high risk, that shot. And she made it. It hit the baseline, that forehand up the line. That was a hero or zero moment. And right now, Collins is the hero.
Oh, that one was on set point.
What are you thinking?
Why would you do that?
Danielle, what are you thinking?
It didn't even need to be that good. Sabalenka wouldn't have got there if it wasn't. She could have taken a bit off that, but that's not
Sabalenka's forehand, inside-out forehand, pushes Collins back, and her own inside-out forehand has hit the net. It's 7-5 Sabalenka. Set. Done.
Oh, it almost feels like a little bit of a sort of anticlimactic end to a great set.
I would class that more as a forced error, although having said that, Collins really didn't run around to try and hit the shot, but I don't know if she had time to do that.
No, it was good from Sabalenka. She picked her moment, got it done, as you sort of expect from her at the moment. You know, she might struggle at times, but she seems to get it done.
Yeah. That was, I'm seeing some replays now of a Sabalenka drop shot that did work. Probably went back when I was trying to fix my computer. But yeah, overall, I feel like Aryna deservedly won that set, but maybe made it harder for herself.
Yeah, I think I totally agree that she deserved it. Overall, sort of better tennis from Sabalenka, and Collins' serve really let her down, not only in the early stages of that set, but also later on. So if she can sort of hang in there a bit more, get a few more first serves in, I think Collins will be well in this second set, but it might be tricky to come back from here against a Sabalenka who's playing so well at the moment.
Yeah, this is this is it's so good from Sabalenka right now. I mean, if we did get if Sabalenka comes to this match, which is looking likely, we get a second consecutive Iga Aryna final. I could definitely see it making a third consecutive one at RG. Are we in the sort that, and that would immediately just give me Roger Rafa vibes from about 15 years ago of like they just always ran into each other at every Masters and Grand Slam clay court final.
Yeah.
And obviously we know how that rivalry worked out on clay.
Yeah, this is all right, isn't it? It's all right. Yeah, I think you're right. It's so easy. It was so easy coming into Rome to think that they were both just going to end up at the final again. It's very easy to think the same of Roland Garros. Part of me thinks that almost feels like too
easy.
Yeah, too easy. I think, I don't know. I sort of feel like Roland Garros might throw up a bit more of an obstacle just with the whole slam of it all.
We didn't get Rybakina in this tournament. Rybakina could have had something to say.
Yeah. And probably would have.
So, yeah, I mean, I think obviously the draw, it wouldn't surprise me if they fixed the draw, but I think if the French Open want the most interesting possible final, they need to put Rybakina in Sabalenka's half, because either of them will give Świątek a good run for their money.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, although putting Coco in Iga's half again, it starts to feel like a cruelty. I get that it's not, but it's awful. I don't even enjoy those matches. Oh, she played really well today, Coco. I wouldn't take it away from her, because some of the defensive stuff today was spot on.
Yeah, it's weird, that matchup, because Coco's just missing one thing and then it'll be a lot more even. I can't put my finger on what that thing is.
Part of it's serve at the moment. For me, the double faults at the moment. I know she sort of says, if I'm serving at this pace, then I'm bound to have double faults, but it's a lot of double faults. It's an awful lot of them.
Yeah, and that does need some work. And well, look, we can say that, but like if anyone knows that, it's Coco. As someone who is a frequent double faulter himself, you know it's a problem.
I feel like she'd be better off saying it though, rather than trying to say, "Oh well, you know." But yeah, you're right. She'll know, and she'll work on it, and she'll get it sorted. I have no doubt of that. It's just how long it takes, but she will.
Shauna, I mean in terms of creating the best possible final, not the most balanced draw. If I'm going for the most balanced draw at somewhere like the US Open, then yeah, Rybakina and Świątek's half is better. And actually at Wimbledon as well, because can you imagine a Rybakina Sabalenka final at Wimbledon? Yes, please.
Yes, please. Yeah. I'd love that.
We got a bit distracted. Sabalenka came through that game holding to 30 after a disputed line call, got it to 40-30. But Collins not making this one easy.
No, it was a nice final point. Collins working hard, but eventually just Sabalenka putting away the sort of smash. It was, yeah, I think she just looks so comfortable out there at the moment, Sabalenka. It's really hard to imagine anyone disrupting her in the same way that it's very hard to imagine anyone disrupting Świątek. So I'm looking forward to a final between them. I think part of me is sort of expecting it to go the other way. And I think Sabalenka might take this one if she gets to the final. I'm not counting Danielle Collins out. But I almost think if Sabalenka had won Madrid, I'd be expecting Iga to take Rome. I'm sort of just expecting them to swap it about.
Yeah, I could see that happening. And that would be a bit like what happened between Djokovic and Murray in 16. where they made the Rome, where they made the Madrid final, Rome final, and Roland Garros final.
Yeah.
And Djokovic got Madrid, Murray got him back in Rome unexpectedly, and then Djokovic came from a set down to win in Roland Garros.
Yeah. That's sort of how I see this going. But
I could see that. Although having said that, I'd be interested because, like, Iga in Rome technically hasn't had a match point converted against her since Arantxa Rus beat her in 2020. We know what happened after that.
we do. Yeah, I totally see that point. Maybe it's just my sort of like this sort of I do this more in football than in tennis, but a lot of sort of like, oh, they can't possibly win in the hopes that they do to contradict me. I don't know. Maybe it's that, but I do have a bit of a feeling about Sabalenka. I almost think part of it's that drive when you've lost that final and it's so close. The drive to make that up almost, and
she is due a win against Swiatek. Traditionally, those two have kind of alternated which one of them wins.
Yeah.
It's been interesting that Swiatek has won the last 2 encounters, so Sabalenka's due one.
Exactly. Just got a feeling about it. But Danielle Collins has not lost this match, and I don't mean to speak as if she has. No.
We're going with the current momentum, which, Collins has got game point on my screen, 40-15. Yep. So we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, this is so far been a right service game, but that's another rocket return from Sabalenka, who puts her on the front foot during the point, puts away the winner. 40-30.
She's returning so well. I mean, Collins has hit some mega returns, but Sabalenka has used them to her advantage so often.
I actually think Collins might have woken Sabalenka up in Madrid when they played.
It felt a bit like that at the time. It was like the first sort of time where I was like, oh, she's really had to fight for that one, like, properly.
And like, actually, like, that's like, oh, right, this is the level now. Cool.
Yeah, it was a step up.
I remember how to do this.
And she definitely does. What do you think to the idea that
top of the net and forces an error from Collins, goes over the baseline. Net cord victory for Sabalenka. We're at deuce. What was your point, Kira?
I was only going to say, what do you think to Swarna's assertion that if Vondrousova defends her Wimbledon title, the entire WTA fandom will collapse?
I think the WTA fandom would reassess its assessment of Vondrousova. I mean, Wimbledon is probably the most wide open of the 4 slams for the WTA now.
Definitely.
Although, having said that, I do think a lot of the reason why Marketa Vondrousova won Wimbledon was because of Ons Jabeur.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a reference to Jabeur in the final. It's breakpoint Sabalenka, by the way. Backhand in play from the Belarusian, backhand from Collins, cross-court, trading backhands. Great, powerful 2-handers from both these women, still going for it. Now Sabalenka's forcing a defensive shot from Collins, opening up the court for a cross-court forehand winner, and Sabalenka gets the early break.
It felt very possible that she was going to just build on the momentum. I mean, she just feels like so ahead at the moment, her and Iga, of everyone else.
And Rebecca?
Yeah.
I mean, like, Rebecca needs to be healthy, but when she is, she's absolutely up there. I think I need to see her string it together in a few tournaments just to really. Oh, there's another forehand winner up the line from Sabalenka, and she's just putting these away from the forehand. But yeah, going back to the point before I realized it was a break point, I think it wasn't just Jabeur not showing up in the final. And interestingly enough, if you go back and watch the WTA Weekly I did with Pam Shriver after Wimbledon, Pam was of the view that drop shot attempt from Sabalenka's ended up in the net. Of the view that it wasn't necessarily Jabeur mentally checking out, but the fact that she had to really fight her way to that final and had to go 3 sets in multiple matches, and they were all really close, probably drained her quite a bit. But the fact Jabeur took out Sabalenka and Rybakina really opened it up there. And I think if Vondrousova played Sabalenka and maybe even Rybakina in that final, it would have been a different story.
Yeah, it's very possible.
By the way, it's 15:30 as Collins has forced an error from Sabalenka with a really deep shot hitting the baseline.
She'd love to get this break back. I mean, it's just so hard when Sabalenka's serving like she is. And I think not only that, but she's serving so well on the big points at the moment. But we'll see. Danielle with a bit of a chance here.
Although Danielle's kind of benefited a little bit there from another net cord on the backhand side. That's meant that, again, Collins was scrambling and Sabalenka could put away an overhead. But again, I think she was in that position because of the net cord.
Yeah.
But let's see if what Sabalenka Collins can do here, because it's still 40-30. You still could extend the game. Maybe there's some crowd interruptions. Sabalenka kind of twisting her head up from one side to the other and then goes for the first serve. Collins can't do anything about it. That's an ace. And that's game Sabalenka. 3-love.
Yeah. It's tough for Danielle Collins when she's been playing so brilliantly to get to this semi-final. But Sabalenka is just one step too far. And I don't think Danielle Collins is playing her best tennis today by any means, but I certainly think a lot of that is due to not being allowed to.
Yeah. I think certainly I'm more willing to compliment Sabalenka than criticize Collins.
Yes.
From watching this match. That's my general rule with tennis anyway. But
yeah. I mean, I prefer that type of tennis watching regardless, but I definitely think it's true here.
Although, having said that, when Mario and I were doing Collins Azarenka last night, there was definitely some criticism in the moment of Azarenka's tactics. So it's not like I never say...
No. Some criticism is obviously necessary in places. And I did watch that match, and I agree that, the tactics weren't quite there. Although, obviously, she wasn't being given any tactics from her coach, as she was very unhappy with at the time.
Yes. Oh, well, I'm sure they'll sort that out between them, hopefully before Roland Garros.
Yeah.
Right, well, we're stepping out here. Collins is trying to avoid a beatdown at the minute.
Yeah. She will absolutely want to hold this game. She's got that sort of intensity back on her face, on my screen at least, which often means she's about to put in a pretty good performance.
How many times can Sabalenka poke the Danielle and get away with it?
Not many. It's not something I'd recommend, but she's doing quite well at the moment.
Well, the good news is we tamed the Danielle. The bad news is I may have lost an arm in the process.
That's the price. That's the price you pay.
Well, so far the Danielle's produced a forehand winner and then a lucky net cord backhand winner for 30-love.
It's mad, but sometimes I feel like you can look at Danielle Collins' face before a service game and you can be like, oh yeah, she's gonna this one she's gonna go for, which I know doesn't work.
I need to listen to her interview with Roddick on the Served podcast, because I keep seeing clips of it and thinking that looks really, really good.
Yeah, I've only seen clips so far.
Double fault from Collins, 30-15. How am I even behind Google?
Google's a mysterious thing.
I mean, look, what we really need is a Spanish stream. As Connor's just put a forehand into the net for 30 all. Goes out wide with that serve, produces a wide return from Sabalenka, who's very annoyed with herself for missing that point. So 40-30.
I quite like how motivated Sabalenka is to win every point. It's something I've noticed more recently, that she can, she doesn't get too frustrated, but she sort of gets frustrated even when she's winning by some margin and she misses a shot that she thinks she obviously should have made. It feels like she gets quite frustrated, like she's in pursuit of that sort of elusive perfection, I suppose. But I think it's sort of a good thing. I think it's working for her that she's motivated. Every single point matters just as much as the last and the next.
Regards the context of the point.
Yeah.
I've noticed the same thing. Iga does the same thing. I've noticed Novak does the same thing.
Yeah.
I think Rafa does the same thing as well.
Yeah. Some obvious correlations with those people, perhaps, that we could see.
Andy does the same thing.
Yeah. Well, Andy's a special case because he could win a point and still be angry with himself for something. He could win a match and still be angry with himself for something. So I have a special love for Andy Murray, but he's got a special air of grumpiness all on his own, I think.
Talking tennis, the thing, yeah?
The thing. That thing.
Yeah, that thing. Well, while we're messing with John, Sabalenka's messing with Collins, who produces forcing a forehand error. Collins tried to redirect and go up the line, but there was not a lot that she could do with that. It's their love.
She's gonna struggle so much to break here. Even if Collins locks down and starts serving better and is able to hold, I just think she's gonna find it so difficult to break.
Yeah, I do feel like that service break that Collins did get was kind of benefiting from Sabalenka giving it away a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
Sabalenka went off balance and dumped a forehand into the net, but I think that she was just a little bit off balance on that shot. Whether Collins caused her to be off balance, I'm not 100% sure.
No, probably to an extent. I'm just seeing it back, but I think she was just off balance, to be honest.
Well, she's giving Collins a second serve to look at here. I mean, we're just talking about, it's not too soon to give away a service game here. As we have a serve from Sabalenka to the Collins backhand. Collins went for a little bit too much on that one. It kicked too high and it was out of her range. It's 40-15. Not ideal.
No, and as much as, like I said, like we said earlier, much more inclined to compliment Sabalenka tonight, but there is an element where I don't think Danielle Collins, like I said, is playing her absolute best tennis that we've seen from her recently. There are a few unforced errors that I'd expect her to be making those shots, but I mean, she's not being allowed to a lot of the time, so it's negligible, really.
Collins went way too much for that forehand, way too much. And Sabalenka gets the game 4-1. That was another, again, kick second serve, short, and Collins decided to just absolutely smack it.
Yeah, she's serving well, knowing what Danielle can produce on return. She's serving smart. I think it was when you were struggling with some technical issues that we were talking about court smarts, as I keep saying, which isn't a thing, but I keep saying it.
It's a thing now.
It's a thing now. I've made it a thing. And I think we were talking about how we think Sabalenka's got a lot more of that than people perhaps give her credit for. And I think today her serving and her choices on serving have been incredibly smart.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like the kick serve on clay is super effective. And I think it is something like watching Danielle Collins over the last few weeks in the clay season. It is something that does catch her out a little bit.
Yeah.
Almost. So yes, I would agree. So Sabalenka is showing herself to be very court smart, almost as court smart as John Silk, who was complimented on his tennis knowledge by Elias Ymer at the US Challenger.
I hadn't seen that. That's a pretty big one. Big compliment.
That's you can watch the interview on the channel.
I will have to do so. Is that a new friend of the show, perhaps?
Potentially, yes. One of our growing friends of the show.
I've got so many friends of the show now. I'm losing track of the friends of the show.
But whilst we have lots of famous friends of the show, all of you who are watching are our favourite friends of the show.
Our favourite. That was very good. I like that. Absolutely. Agreed.
They're trading forehands at the minute. Sabalenka is definitely now trying to cause Collins some problems. Collins gets a net cord. Sabalenka doesn't live with that very well and puts her backhand into the net. 15-love Collins.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Danielle does sort of hold from here. I think it's just that Sabalenka's going to as well.
Yeah. I don't see too much of that as Collins. Oh, she really went for that inside out forehand. Missed the line. 15-all. I feel like Collins is trying to swing for it and hope it works.
Yeah, a little bit at the moment.
Ghosty, we would not be a show without you. You're one of the highlights.
The highlights. You are the highlight reel.
Some of which cannot be broadcast. But
No. But some sort of private, locked away highlight reel.
Not entirely sure I'd want to watch that. But anyway, we're at 30-15. Collins going for the first serve up the tee, misses it. So she's not looking very happy at the minute. Collins kind of taking her time before this second serve. Collins serves the body of Sabalenka, goes cross court with the backhand, gets a cross court again. Sabalenka goes up the line, which puts Collins on the defense. And now Sabalenka's going to try and drop shot. I'm not sure that was the right choice, Aryna. She's dumped it in the nets, 40-15. Sabalenka's brain's gone a little bit out the window in this game.
Yeah, just so I was talking about all her court smarts. She's not interested in them anymore.
Although she's still annoyed that she lost the point. She knows that wasn't the smartest thing to do.
Yeah. Which, in a way, if you know it's not the smartest thing to do, is that smart in itself? Not really, but, you know. I think
I got what you were going for.
Occasionally, I think I wouldn't call it a lapse in concentration because she's concentrating. I don't know what it is with Sabalenka that she occasionally sort of loses that decision making.
It's very hard to maintain. I don't think I've ever seen even like the best players in the world not play a weird point every now and again.
Yeah.
By the way, Collins held with that one. So 4-2 keeps the pressure on Sabalenka.
Forehand. We had a bit of chat in the chat about the men's competition, which obviously has not gone as maybe some of us expected it to. Who is your pick? We've got the final four. Who's your pick to take it?
It's hard to look past Zverev. But at the end of the day, but also this tournament's been absolutely insane.
Yes.
And I kind of want a Chilean to win it.
Yeah, me too. I really do. I
want
a little bit more insanity.
Yeah. Let's bring the chaos. Was it the Elmo and the burning building meme?
That's exactly what I want from Rome. And I want Nico Jarry right in the centre of it.
Would Nico Jarry be the most chaotic one, or would it be Tabio?
For me, Jarry, but I don't really know why.
Jarry's not really had recent form. Like, he didn't do very well in the clay swing in South America. And he's kind of been asleep for a bit, but he's definitely woken up here.
He has. I mean, I think if he plays as he played against Tsitsipas tonight, he can win the whole thing. If he plays like that the rest of his matches, I think he can win it. It's whether he can.
Yeah, whether he can top that. I mean, look, he's had some highlight reel worthy matches with Alcaraz last year or so. I think Torrey Paul is a winnable match. I think that's going to be very close. I can't call that one. Yeah. Sabalenka goes up for a winner up the line, holds to love 5-2, 1 game away from the match. Yeah, I think. By the way, if Jarry does win the title, he'll get himself into the top 16 seeds for Roland Garros.
Oh, nice. That'd be big for him.
Yeah, which would obviously again be a nicer draw than he could get otherwise.
Yeah.
There is no way you would get a highlight reel out of watching me against Carlos Alcaraz.
Are you sure?
I don't think. I think Alcaraz would be. I think Alcaraz would just. It would be ace or drop shot return from Alcaraz winner.
Yeah, maybe. Still a highlight reel.
Sure. Actually, you wouldn't even need to hit the drop shot. He just needs to hit. He just needs to hit any shot, and there'll be no hope for me.
Yeah, I'm really struggling to see the men's Roland Garros as clearly as I'm seeing the women's. I really just can't call that at all at the moment.
It's like there's talks about Sinner not even playing. Alcaraz isn't great. Djokovic is being weird at the minute, and like form-wise, and I was about to go for like going all in. Like it looked like, oh hey, maybe Tsitsipas and Ruud could do it, but they're not really being. They've had some weird losses. They've had some odd losses recently. So, honestly, like genuinely, Roland Garros could be the most out there men's champion we've had for a while, probably since Marin Cilic won the US Open. It
feels like it to me. I definitely think I'm of the opinion at the moment that we're going to get a first-time Slam champion in the French Open. I definitely, like you say, Djokovic is just being weird at the minute, but that doesn't necessarily mean you count him out because he's Djokovic.
No, I kind of rely on Djokovic to kind of dial in for it. Like, oh yeah, it's a slam. Oh yeah, I like these.
Yeah. That's sort of what I think will happen, but then that's what I thought he'd do in Australia, and obviously. But then Jannik Sinner's the one who beat him there, and Jannik Sinner might not be Roland Garros. There's so many factors. I love it. I'm eating it all up. And yes, to Ghosty's question, I do find it refreshing. I love it when it's less predictable. Men's, women's, don't care. I think it's great.
By the way, 15:30, Sabalenka might be 2 points away from confirming her place in the Rome final and getting another 1v2 and getting some making the WTA the consistent one, which I think there's pros and cons to both. Yeah. I certainly don't think there's a bad way the sport can be. No, huge attempt from Sabalenka, thought it was forcing an error from Collins, drop shot from Collins, backhand, Sabalenka up the line. She set up 2 match points, 15-40.
It's just been so good this evening.
I know you were trying to make a point, sorry.
No, it wasn't as important as match point. Let's get this. Let's let Sabalenka get this out of the way first, shall we?
I think everything you have to say is important, Kira.
Oh, thank you. You might be the only one, but I appreciate it, Nick. I do think we can all agree that Sabalenka is more important in this moment.
We've got a let from Danielle Collins. First serve. Bouncing the ball. Collins trying to do this again. First serve goes wide. Forehand in play from Sabalenka. Collins goes up the line. Oh my word. Forehand winner. Match point down. Up the line. Yeah, another. Do you remember that set point she saved with that crazy forehand that just clipped the baseline?
Yeah.
So Oh, first serve into the net though from Collins. Not
This is
ideal.
exactly what happened last time in the first set.
Yeah, when she got like out of position on the second set
Mm.
point. First serve out wide. Backhand cross court from Sabalenka, putting Collins under pressure. She's gone up the line with her backhand. It's in the court. Cross court from Sabalenka, who's moving Collins around, forcing the error. Sabalenka fist pumps. She is into the Rome final for the first time in her career. And here we go again. It's a Sabalenka versus Swiatek XI.
Of course it is. Of course it is. I'm going to admit something that's very shameful here, but do you know who I predicted to win Rome?
Sabalenka.
Jasmine Paolini.
Oh. Oh, good.
So this is the final that I did not predict, but I am very, very happy that we have got this final in Rome. A much better final than the one I did predict.
You and I made the same mistake, except that I didn't predict Paolini to win the title.
No, of course not.
But it wasn't Swiatek or Sabalenka either, because I thought they both ran out of gas.
Exactly.
You want to know who I went with?
Yeah.
Maria Sakkari.
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's not as bad as mine, but yeah, not great for either of us.
No, I went for a Haddad Maya Sakkari final.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think I was just sort of going out there, but I'm very glad to get the rematch. I think it promises a hell of a lot after Madrid. It will be a real shame if it doesn't deliver after the excitement of Madrid, but I'm pretty certain it will.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, yeah, that's a difficulty, isn't it? Because like, how could they live up to that Madrid final? But I also think that their straight sets matches have been really, really good. I don't think Swiatek and Sabalenka have ever produced a real dud match. It's been such a the tennis they produce and make each other play is usually pretty good, even if it's just the winner of the match.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. I think whoever wins, we're going to see some great tennis. Like you say, even if it's just that one of them really steps up and makes it straight sets. But yeah, I just think Sabalenka is going to be ridiculously up for it here in Rome, as she has been the whole time. But then Iga, hasn't dropped a set. So, it's just so exciting.
Bring it on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Is it Saturday yet?
I wish.
Would it be okay if I slept till Saturday? No, I feel like work might want me to be there tomorrow.
They might. Yeah. I feel like if we could just, get round to skip the men's semi-finals.
Oh, controversial. WTA supremacy.
Look, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not afraid of it. The women's tennis in the last couple of tournaments has been a level above.
Excellent. Yes, I agree. And it's been super special. Although I have to say that Madrid, although it's produced some brilliant matches, I haven't seen that many from Rome. I think Sabalenka's Svitolina has been the only big highlight.
Yeah, I probably agree. I think, to be fair, I think I've watched probably all of Sabalenka's matches, and all of them have been pretty. Even if it's just been her, they've all been brilliant. And Iga, her own sort of special dominance has been great, but not necessarily thrillers, of course. So yeah, not necessarily a load of incredible matches in Rome. I feel like that's been the same on both sides, that Madrid was slightly higher quality, perhaps.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but certainly we're going to get a quality final.
Yes.
And it's very hard to see which way that one goes. I have an inkling, but it's so fine a margin.
Yeah. I am going for a Sabalenka win on Saturday. I do think she'll have what it takes. I don't know why. I'm not entirely sure, because it could go either way, like you say. But for me, like, it's almost like a gut feeling.
I mean, I do feel like saying Sabalenka has what it takes to beat Iga is a slightly obvious statement.
Yes, yes, yes. Obviously, she does. I think she has. Yeah, I don't know what the word is. There's something about her at the moment that I just think maybe it's that she's had to scrap more here in Rome, and Iga hasn't really had to scrap. And
No.
I think it's bound to be that sort of match between the two.
We said that about Iga. We had said that about the Madrid final, though.
Mm.
Maybe apart from the Halep-Meyer match, but I think Tom Jones on Twitter did say that he thought Iga had been pushed more consistently in the matches in Rome than Madrid.
I mean, as far as Iga does get pushed, I suppose.
Yeah, I am keeping the faith, and I am edging an Iga win.
I respect it. You're a better fan than I.
Top badge.
Yeah, if there's an Iga fan club badge, you can get that, and I'll get sent to the sin.
I feel like someone else may already have the badge, or there's a group that are already kind of fighting over the badge that we don't necessarily want to be involved in.
I'm all right being away from the badge givers for now, and clearly I am. Otherwise, I wouldn't predict Sabalenka. But either way, I think it'll be a real gift.
You get to lose before as well, so
yeah.
So yeah, there you go. That's the Rome semi-final. Anything we want to say about like Collins? I mean, there wasn't a lot she could do against Sabalenka today, but she is going into Roland Garros as the full fifth favorite. Yeah,
absolutely. I think she played well at times today. Just Sabalenka too much for her, but I'm not very good with the exact numbers. I think it's about 19 or 20 now for Danielle Collins, where she's only lost to Sabalenka in that time. I don't think that's too bad a stat to have if you can basically beat anyone you come up against except Aryna Sabalenka. So I think she can go into Roland Garros with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I agree with that. I guess then it's going to be like this is the decision now to make for those of us who like to do power rankings is who's higher up the list, Coco or Danielle?
Before the last couple of matches, I would have said Danielle, but Coco's really impressed me in the last couple of matches, and she impressed me today against Iga. I know it was straight sets, but she did impress me. So I would still go Coco myself, but I'm not the power rankings guru. I will leave.
You could be if you wanted.
I don't think I should be. I think I'll leave that on with you.
Well, there we go. That's decisions that we've got to be making. I've got to be making that in the next few days. Pretty much, probably as soon as I finish the stream. But I think before we look to Roland Garros, we have to get through Rome first.
Yes.
And although Kira is not particularly interested in the men's semi-finals tomorrow.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Not true. It's not true, guys. I promise. I'm very interested.
If it makes you feel better, I'm not going to be able to watch them, even if tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have work tomorrow and plans in the evening, so I'm very likely to be missing both matches. But you don't have to, because we will be bringing you at least one of the semi-finals tomorrow. I'm not sure if we'll bring you both, but at least we're bringing you one. And hopefully it's the daytime one, because that means I can follow that while I'm at work. Have that in my headphones. Have the dulcet tones of Damien Koost encouraging me as I carry out whatever my day job is.
Who could ask for more?
Indeed. And let's face it, it's always good to listen to Damien. If you get to talk with him, even better. So get in the live chat, get watching the stream, have Damien as your commentator. And apparently I'm doing the Rome final on Saturday with James.
You've been told.
So yes. I'm looking forward to that one. I think it's 3 p.m. UK time. That seems to be when the stream starts. So
So we can only assume.
I know what time I'm meant to show up. So that's the main thing.
That's the main thing.
Hopefully with functioning technology.
Yes. And James will be there, apparently. I don't know if he's been told, but he'll be there.
We hope. But it's going to be a good time, and hopefully you can come and join us. But it's always a good time with you, Kira. Thanks for running the stream so well.
Oh, I wouldn't call it running. Thank you for sorting your technical issues so quickly, so I didn't have to steer the ship for too long.
But you did it beautifully. So with that, you're probably sick of just watching us be nice to each other. So let's just end the stream.
Get rid.
We could hopefully at least you get some positivity along with your tennis by watching us. Well, hopefully I'll see some of you for the Rome final, and we will see what kind of result we get, whether we get Iga or Sabalenka winning this one. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. So see you for that. But until then, take care and keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.